Okay, well, I'm very happy to be here with you today. I appreciate the opportunity. Born and raised in Luzerne County, my entire family for generations. I'm very proud to serve as a county judge. I'm very honored that the people of Luzerne County have given me this opportunity. Without their support, I would never have the opportunities that I do. I'm thankful over the years that I've had experience handling all types of cases, criminal, civil, family. And I feel that no matter what walk of life you're in, the more experience you have, the more capable you are to handle whatever may come in your door. So I walk in every day being thankful to be in that courthouse and doing my best to promote and continue confidence in the judicial system. So thank you for having me today.
Let's kind of ask a question that relates to that confidence in the justice system. So the 6 people who were running for retention today really came in when the reputation of the court was really at a low ebb with the Kids for Cash case. Can you comment somewhat on the changes that you've seen in 10 years and how you think the current court has been able to perhaps turn that around?
Well, I think at the time we came in, you are correct. We were still on the tail end of the Kids for Cash scandal, which was a tragedy. It was a tragedy for everyone involved. Those young people and their families were scarred, and they may be scarred for life. They were denied justice, they were denied their constitutional rights, they were denied fair trials, and candidly, it just left a sick taste in my mouth, and I think in everyone else's mouth, because we have good, hard-working people here in Luzerne County, and everybody is entitled to fairness in the judicial system and should have trust and confidence in the judicial system. I really believe that since the 6 of us have gone in conjunction with the other people who are presently on the court, we've all come to work every day, being mindful that we have to continue to promote confidence in the judicial system. We all work hard, we do our best, and I really believe that we've given the people of Luzerne County reason to see that justice is being served properly.
You said you've worked in a lot of different areas. What's your current assignment?
Right now I'm assigned to Civil Trial Division, and I continue to be on the murder list. I continue to handle any and all criminal matters that I was assigned since I began, such as PCRA proceedings. I'm our grand jury judge. I also handle our tax court matters. Throughout the years, I began maybe the first 5 years solely criminal trials. And then I did criminal trials and civil trials for about a year and a half. And then I went into family and juvenile for 2 years. And now I'm back in my present assignment. So I've had a lot of good variety, I must say, a lot of great opportunities to handle different types of cases.
Now, you were a magistrate before you came into the courthouse. Is there anything in the last 10 years that surprised you or was unexpected or, you know, that surprised you about being a judge or about working in the courthouse?
I'm just, I think a little surprised that most people would be. Of course, we're the largest county in northeastern Pennsylvania, but I must tell you the volume of cases that we have across the board. As a magisterial judge, I was exposed to criminal cases primarily, but you see that there is a great volume in our county, not only in criminal, but in civil, family court. All branches of our court are very, very busy.
So I guess the new openings, from what we've talked to a couple of other of the 6 who are running, there's kind of going to be a rearrangement after these new people come in with 3 family court, 3 criminal, and I guess it's 4 civil. So are you going to stay in civil? Is that the plan?
My assignment is to continue with civil trials, and like I said, the other assignments I have, a murder list, still a grand jury judge. If a grand jury is impaneled again, I'm presently the grand jury judge. We did have a grand jury a couple of years ago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do remember. Okay. One of the things, and Jim, I'm sure experiences this, and I did as a court reporter way back, was how long it might take a civil case to work its way through the system. I think at one point the court started weeding out some, I guess, stale cases, which you might call them. What's the status of how that is working as far as trying to get these cases through the system rather than have them hang around?
Yeah, I would say that many of these stale cases have already gone by the wayside. The parties and the attorneys are notified that if there is no activity on a case, the case will be scheduled for termination. And we have found that many of the cases were cases that may have settled, where people may not have filed the necessary paperwork to confirm that the cases were settled, or quite frankly, in some of the cases, the parties are just abandoning the cases. We all have received several cases that were on this inactive list, and we're charged with moving them along as quickly as we can, and if we find out that there is a lack of activity or no more interest in pursuing the cases, then we have the authority to schedule them for dismissal. But you're right, when a civil trial starts, it's dynamic. It could be anything from a medical malpractice case, which may take a few weeks, a motor vehicle accident, a fall. There are many types of trials that come in. Most require jury. Several of the civil cases, though, are tried by a judge, just a straight bench trial. So we move them along as best as we can. We try to settle cases if the parties are willing to negotiate. We always try to see if there's a way of reaching an amicable resolution short of trial.
What sort of impact has with the COVID pandemic, with the courthouse being closed and stuff, what sort of an impact has that had on the caseload?
Yeah, I'll tell you, I don't think in my life I ever expected to see something like this pandemic. But in all candor, we adapted so that we continue to handle cases as best as we possibly could. We were doing Zoom proceedings, we were doing proceedings by telephone, and we found for the most part that we were able to move along most cases, with the exception of those that would be scheduled for a trial. And now that we're back, we have addressed most of the cases that have been waiting for trial. They've been scheduled. And I will tell you that the participants, the attorneys, were very reasonable, and everyone was aware of the concerns with the pandemic, and very much agreeable to continuances where continuances had to be sought. And candidly, many of the people began discussing their cases, and many compromises were reached rather than awaiting perhaps a reopening for a jury trial. Or on the civil side, there are alternative methods like mediation, arbitration, and some people chose to go that route. So cases were moving, they were moving. It's just they were handled differently. A large amount of audio-visual equipment has been brought into the courtrooms. We are still under a masking policy since August at the courthouse. Our shields have come down, or the shields, the plexiglass shields have come down, but they're stored in case we need them again. Everything is still dynamic.
Looking ahead, if you're retained, and obviously it's a rarity that judges are not retained, do you have any goals, ideas about what you'd like to do in the 10 years, or maybe reforms that you might advocate for? Or?
I think we're moving in the right direction. I think the goal would be just to continue to come in daily and move as many cases as we possibly can. I don't ever see a slowdown in the number of cases that are being filed across the board. And I would just say come in on a daily basis and move what you can. By now we have many programs in place, such as treatment court, we have alternative dispute resolutions, we have specialty courts. We just have to continue with what we have.
Okay. Let's return a little bit to the juvenile issue, because you were in juvenile court for a while. How is that operating now? And how, well, obviously we were having this federal court hearing with defendants coming in for damages. Yeah. I mean, what kind of changes have been made? How different is it from what it was when you folks came into courthouse?
When I was a young man, I started as an assistant district attorney in juvenile court. I was brought in by District Attorney Bob Gillespie, and I was assigned to Judge Morosky, who was the juvenile judge at the time. And in all candor, when we would appear in juvenile court, we would always ensure that the kids who were coming in would have lawyers before they would come up to the bench. And now every juvenile proceeding is highly specialized. Everything that we do is the way it should be done, the way it should have been done. Every child that comes into court has an attorney. Every child that comes into court is appointed an attorney. There are colloquies that we read extensively to these children in the presence of their lawyers. Their parents are also present. There are specialists on both sides, with the district attorney and with the public defender's office and conflict counsel, who solely handle juvenile court. There are juvenile seminars. Once a year there is a juvenile seminar where the attorneys and the judges are invited to participate and discuss any issues and any updates. So I must tell you that juvenile court is highly specialized and absolutely running the way it should.
Can you talk a little bit about how you're handling this retention campaign? I mean, are you raising money? Are you going to events?
Well, I can say that I'm hopeful that the people of Luzerne County will recognize the work that I've been doing and the work of my colleagues, and the fact that we have done our job in promoting and restoring confidence in this judicial system, and we will continue to do so. And candidly, I'm hoping that our work speaks for itself. I know that normally when you're involved in a campaign, you're out there and maybe you're running television ads and newspaper ads and billboards, but a retention campaign is something a little different. It's the first time I've ever had to engage in a retention campaign. I'm not sitting back and taking anything for granted, but I'm hopeful that people will recognize the work that we've been doing.
So, are you raising money, or?
No, I will not open a committee, no.
Okay. How about political events? Because obviously you're allowed to do that in a retention year.
Yeah, I have not attended any political events, and I do not plan to attend any political events. You know, over the years, just being active in clubs and church dinners and Little League events, etc., I stay active in my community that way.
Anybody have any more questions?
No.